Welcome to the Cosmic Lullaby channel, where science meets wonder and every story of life becomes a song of the universe. Tonight, we open a journey that feels less like a bedtime story and more like a dispatch from the front lines of life itself, fragile, resilient, and astonishing. Wherever you are watching this, pause for a moment. Let the constant noise of your day fade away. Imagine the planet as it truly is, a stage for stories stranger and more powerful than any fiction we could write. Here on Earth, life is not static. It is dynamic, constantly rewriting the rules of survival. Every corner of this planet, from the deepest trench to the highest canopy, hums with strategies that push the boundaries of possibility. Some of these stories sound like myths, but they are real. Others feel like messages, warnings, or promises about resilience in the face of extinction, about networks of cooperation invisible to the human eye, and about life's refusal to surrender. We begin with one of the most unsettling and awe-inspiring revelations from the sea, a creature that seems to mock time itself. In the warm waters of the Mediterranean and drifting across oceans worldwide exists a jellyfish known as Turritopsis dohrnii. To the public, it has another name, the immortal jellyfish. When wounded, aged, or threatened, this organism performs a biological trick so radical it challenges our understanding of life cycles. It reverses its own aging process, transforming its adult body back into the polyp stage, essentially rewinding the clock to childhood. Unlike any fairy tale, this is no metaphor. It has been observed in laboratories repeatedly. Unless consumed or destroyed, the jellyfish can repeat this cycle endlessly. It is not the secret to human immortality, at least not yet. But in an era when the world's wealthiest are investing billions into anti-aging research, this jellyfish serves as a powerful reminder. Nature has already conducted experiments we are only beginning to imagine. Tech billionaires pour fortunes into biotechnology startups in Silicon Valley and Singapore, while pharmaceutical giants chase regenerative medicine. Yet here in the ocean, a fragile, transparent creature solved the riddle millions of years ago, indifferent to markets or ambition. From the seas, we move to the forests, where silence conceals an intelligence so vast it redefines the word community. Beneath the forest floor stretches an invisible infrastructure, mycorrhizal networks, thin fungal threads that link tree roots together. Scientists now call it the Wood Wide Web. Through this system, nutrients, signals, and even warnings travel between trees. Old giants, sometimes called mother trees, pass sugars to younger saplings shaded from the sun. When pests or drought threaten, chemical alerts spread underground, preparing neighbors for survival. This is not folklore, it is biological fact, and it has strategic implications for how we think about survival itself. In a world where nations compete for resources and information, the forest shows us a model of resilience not built on conquest but on connection. The fate of one tree is tied to the fate of the whole. For human societies grappling with climate collapse, economic instability, and war, this lesson is urgent. Isolation is fragility, interconnection is strength. And then there are the tardigrades, microscopic water bears, less than a millimeter long, yet capable of outliving almost any catastrophe. Freeze them to near absolute zero, boil them, expose them to radiation, or even launch them into space, and they return alive. Their secret lies in cryptobiosis, a state in which they dry out almost completely, halting metabolism and waiting for the right conditions to revive. In 2007, when scientists exposed them to the vacuum of outer space, many returned home still alive. What does this mean for us? For one, tardigrades force us to reconsider where life can exist beyond Earth. If these creatures can survive space travel, could microbial life endure on Mars, Europa, or Enceladus? Agencies like NASA and ESA are already using them as models for astrobiology. And in the shadow of global instability, they symbolize something deeper, that life itself, in its smallest forms, may outlast the empires, economies, and borders humans build. Finally, let us turn back time, billions of years, to a truth both terrifying and astonishing. Oxygen, the very gas we breathe, was once Earth's deadliest poison. Before cyanobacteria began releasing it through photosynthesis, ancient microbes thrived in an oxygen-free world. When oxygen slowly filled the oceans and skies, it triggered what scientists call the Great Oxidation Event. For countless anaerobic species, oxygen was lethal. Entire ecosystems collapsed. Yet, from this mass extinction rose the possibility of complex multicellular life. It is a stark reminder that what gives life can also destroy it, a duality that resonates today. Humanity is now altering Earth's atmosphere once again, not with oxygen, but with carbon dioxide. Just as oxygen transformed the planet, CO2 is reshaping climates, melting glaciers, and rewriting coastlines. The lesson is clear. Gases invisible to the eye can determine the fate of civilizations. From immortal jellyfish to forest networks, from indestructible water bears to the poisonous gift of oxygen, part 1 of our journey reveals a profound truth. Survival is never simple. It is invention. It is adaptation. It is a constant negotiation with time itself. And these stories are not just curiosities, they are warnings, messages, and metaphors for our own uncertain future. Life as we see it today is not only beautiful, but also ruthless in its creativity. To survive, organisms have rewritten the rules of biology in ways that challenge everything we thought we knew. Consider the plants we often imagine as passive, rooted, fragile, and quiet. Many are not merely waiting for sunlight. Some are hunters. Carnivorous plants like the Venus flytrap, pitcher plants, and sundews have evolved strategies worthy of predators. A flytrap does not snap shut on a whim. It counts, waiting for multiple touches to confirm a real prey before closing in a fraction of a second. A pitcher plant creates a slippery death trap filled with digestive liquid, while the sundew glistens with sticky arms that curl around its victims. These adaptations were not born out of cruelty, but necessity. In soils poor in nitrogen, they turned hunger into innovation. This challenges a fundamental assumption. Intelligence is not only measured by brains. It is encoded in design, in patience, in evolutionary strategy. In many ways, a Venus flytrap counting touches is no less astonishing than a computer counting binary code. And as biotech researchers explore plant-inspired robotics, the logic of these organisms may one day influence machines that monitor, trap, or adapt in hostile environments. From the swamps, we move to something deceptively ordinary, the leaf. Hold one up to the light and you are looking at a masterpiece of engineering. Its veins transport water, minerals, and sugars with microscopic precision. Its surface opens and closes tiny valves, stomata, balancing gases for photosynthesis. Its green pigment, chlorophyll, captures sunlight and turns it into energy. This simple sheet of tissue is the engine behind nearly all life on Earth. But here is the drama. Forests are under assault. Deforestation in the Amazon alone is erasing billions of leaves every year. Each leaf cut down is not just wood lost, it is energy denied to ecosystems, carbon pulled from the air no longer, and oxygen withheld from the atmosphere. When we speak of climate negotiations in Paris or New York, we are, at the deepest level, speaking about the fate of leaves. Yet Earth still offers us miracles in the dark. Along certain coastlines, waves glow with eerie blue-green light. It is not magic, but bioluminescence, created by plankton that flash when disturbed. Imagine walking along the shore of Puerto Rico's Mosquito Bay or the Maldives, where every ripple becomes a streak of cold fire. Bioluminescence is more than beauty. In evolutionary terms, it is strategy to lure prey, confuse predators, or attract mates. In global science, it is now inspiration. Researchers study the chemistry of these glowing creatures to develop sustainable lighting, medical imaging tools, and even military camouflage. Once again, biology points the way forward. And then there is you, or rather, the world within you. The human body is not one individual organism, but a teeming ecosystem. Trillions of microbes live inside and upon us, more cells than those of our own human body. This microbiome trains our immune systems, helps digest food, and even influences mood and behavior. Some scientists argue it is an extension of our intelligence itself. The stakes are enormous. Modern medicine is beginning to recognize that disruptions to the microbiome can contribute to diseases ranging from obesity to depression. Global markets for probiotics and microbiome therapies are now worth billions. Nations are even funding microbiome research as a matter of strategic health security. In short, the bacteria in your gut may matter as much to geopolitics as oil or water supplies. But life's creativity does not end with microbes. March with the army ants of South America and you'll see a living metaphor for human society. When faced with gaps or obstacles, these ants form bridges with their own bodies. Thousands link together, adjusting dynamically as traffic passes over them, then disassemble once the colony is across. There is no central leader. The bridge emerges from local decisions, each ant responding to its neighbor. It is an astonishing display of collective intelligence, one that should force us to ask, what might humans learn from ants? Modern military strategists study swarm behavior to design drone formations. Economists model decentralized markets with algorithms inspired by insect colonies. Once again, nature is not only teacher, but strategist. And finally, we descend into the deep sea, where one of Earth's most alien intelligences waits, the octopus. Already a master of disguise and one of the most intelligent non-human animals, it carries a hidden power, the ability to edit its own RNA. While DNA sets the blueprint for life, RNA translates those instructions into action. Most species obey the code they are born with. The octopus does not. It rewrites. It alters how its neurons function, how it responds to stress, even how its body adapts to temperature. For scientists, this is almost science fiction, a creature that can rewrite the script of its own existence in real time. For us, it is another reminder that intelligence does not belong solely to humans. It flickers in the forests, it pulses in the oceans, it whispers underground. From carnivorous plants to glowing seas, from the bacteria in your gut to the collective bridges of ants, from the coded brilliance of leaves to the self-editing octopus, one message emerges: survival is not passive. It is an act of design, of communication, of audacity. And life, wherever it exists, does not just endure, it surprises. In the quietest corners of the natural world, we begin to see something profound: awareness itself. Not just survival, not just adaptation, but the glimmers of self-recognition and memory. Picture an elephant on the savannah. It pauses at a pile of sun-bleached bones. With its trunk, it caresses the remains, lingers, and sometimes returns years later to the same spot. These behaviors suggest something powerful: grief. Elephants mourn their dead. They stand vigil for the dying. They carry the weight of memory in ways that blur the boundary between human and animal emotion. This is not sentimentality, it is data. Wildlife biologists have documented dozens of cases across Africa and Asia, and the implications are staggering. If elephants grieve, if dolphins call one another by name, if apes recognize themselves in mirrors, then empathy, awareness, and perhaps even love are not uniquely human. They are part of a shared evolutionary inheritance. But awareness is not limited to the giants. Even tiny birds can reveal astonishing intelligence. In remote islands, crows and ravens have been observed shaping tools, bending twigs into hooks to extract insects. They do not just use the tool, they plan ahead, saving it for future use. Laboratory experiments show they can even barter, exchanging objects for rewards. A crow will sometimes forego an immediate meal in favor of a bigger one later. Economists call this delayed gratification. Psychologists call it foresight. Either way, it means that in the eyes of a crow, tomorrow exists. These glimpses of intelligence challenge our old hierarchies. We once thought humans were singular, set apart by reason, language, and culture. But again and again, research shows the lines are blurred. Nature is not a pyramid with humans on top. It is a network filled with sparks of cognition across unexpected species. And what about survival on a planetary scale? Earth itself has endured 5 mass extinction events in the last 500 million years. Each one reshaped life completely. The Permian extinction, 250 million years ago, erased over 90% of marine life and 70% of land species. Catastrophe followed by rebirth. Volcanoes, asteroid strikes, abrupt climate shifts all tore apart ecosystems. Yet every time, life clawed its way back. Not the same life, but new, transformed. Today, scientists warn we may be entering a 6th extinction, this time driven not by asteroids or volcanoes, but by us. Species are vanishing at rates 100 times faster than historical averages. Coral reefs bleach and collapse, forests fall, and oceans warm. And yet, life has shown again and again that it will not disappear. It will change. The question is not whether Earth will survive, it is whether we will. One of the most haunting examples of life's darker strategies lies deep in the rainforest. Parasitic fungi, the so-called zombie makers. These fungi infect insects, invade their nervous systems, and seize control of their behavior. An ant, under the fungus's influence, climbs to a high branch, clamps down, and dies. From its body sprouts the fungal stalk, releasing spores to rain down upon its unsuspecting colony below. This is not fiction. It is evolutionary warfare. And it reminds us that power does not always come from size or strength. Sometimes the smallest organisms wield the greatest control. At the microscopic level, other forces blur the line between beauty and deception. The color blue, so common in our skies and oceans, is almost absent as a true pigment in nature. Blue morpho butterflies, peacocks, even blue jays do not actually contain blue pigment. Their colors are illusions created by microscopic structures that scatter light in precise ways. Structural coloration, not dye, produces these flashes of brilliance. In a world where camouflage can decide survival, light itself becomes a weapon, a disguise, a performance. But perhaps the most humbling reminder of our shared emotional world comes once again from elephants. When they grieve, they show us that memory and empathy are not uniquely human. When they return to bones years later, they remind us that love and loss ripple through the animal kingdom. And when we see this, we must ask, if elephants carry grief, if crows plan, if fungi control, then what is intelligence? What is awareness? And what is the true scale of life's imagination? From mourning elephants to calculating crows, from mass extinctions to zombie fungi, from the illusion of blue to the persistence of grief, Part 3 reveals a deeper truth. Life is not mechanical, it is emotional. It is strategic. It is filled with signals and meanings we are only beginning to decode. In the hidden depths of the ocean, beneath crushing pressure and endless night, life has evolved into forms that defy imagination. Among these beings, whales rise as giants not only of size, but of song. Their calls, low and haunting, can travel thousands of miles beneath the sea. Blue whales, the largest creatures ever to exist, send messages that echo across entire oceans. Humpbacks weave long, evolving melodies, songs that shift year by year, as though carried like oral traditions across generations. For humans, the implications are profound. These are not random noises. They are structured, meaningful, and sometimes synchronized across entire populations. In the Cold War, the United States Navy mistakenly logged whale songs as unidentified submarine signals. Today, bioacoustics experts analyze them as evidence of a communication system still only dimly understood. Do whales share culture? Do they exchange memory? Whatever the answer, their voices testify to an intelligence that swims beyond our shores. From the ocean's surface to the soil beneath our feet, the theme of resilience repeats. Seeds, small enough to slip through fingers, are in fact time capsules of survival. Some can remain dormant for thousands of years, waiting for the precise conditions to return to life. In one extraordinary case, a 2,000-year-old Judean date palm seed recovered from an archaeological site was germinated in modern times. It awoke from millennia of silence and grew again under the desert sun. Seeds represent patience as strategy. In geopolitics, patience often determines survival. Nations that endure are those that can wait, adapt, and strike when conditions are favorable. Seeds teach us this lesson on a molecular scale. Encased within their shells is not only the blueprint for life, but also the wisdom to pause until the world is ready. But not all resilience is passive. Bioluminescence, life's ability to produce its own light, is an active display of power. From fireflies in summer skies to plankton glowing in surf, bioluminescence has evolved independently at least 40 times across the tree of life. In the abyss, anglerfish dangle luminous lures to attract prey. Squid use pulses of light to vanish into the dark. Even fungi glow softly in forest floors, communicating and warning. This adaptation, repeated across unrelated species, tells us something critical. Light is not just beauty, it is survival currency. Militaries and technology firms now study bioluminescence for potential breakthroughs in sustainable energy, stealth technology, and medical imaging. Once again, nature's silent laboratory races ahead of human invention. And then, perhaps the most humbling truth of all, we ourselves are stardust. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen you breathe, all were forged in the cores of ancient stars. When those stars exploded as supernovae, they scattered these elements across space. Over time, gravity gathered them into planets, oceans, and eventually life. Every heartbeat, every thought, every tear is powered by the remnants of long-dead suns. This fact is not metaphor, it is physics. And in it lies a perspective that transcends politics and borders. Every war, every empire, every ambition is carried out by beings made of the same stellar debris. We are not apart from the universe. We are its echo, walking, breathing, remembering. But the story of perception reminds us that we do not all see this world the same way. Many insects, bees, butterflies, even humble flies, see ultraviolet light invisible to humans. Flowers that appear plain to us blaze with landing guides under their vision, patterns directing them to nectar. To us, a meadow is beautiful. To them, it is a map. This duality underscores a deeper truth. Reality is not singular. Each species perceives its own version of the world. For humanity, trapped by our senses, this should be both humbling and motivating. It means our perspective is narrow, incomplete. and it challenges us to expand our understanding through science, technology, and imagination. From whale songs to ancient seeds, from glowing oceans to stellar origins, from ultraviolet fields to the very chemistry of life, Part 4 reminds us, Earth is not only alive, it is alive with strategy. Survival comes in song, in silence, in waiting, and in light. And every form, from the vast to the microscopic, is part of one great chorus, life enduring against time. In the heart of Australia's vast outback, kangaroos carry a secret hidden in their biology, the power to pause time itself. Through a process called embryonic diapause, female kangaroos can delay the development of a fertilized egg when conditions are harsh or when a joey already occupies the pouch. Remarkably, a single female may nurture one joey outside the pouch, one inside, and hold another embryo in suspended animation, all at the same time. When resources return or the pouch is vacated, the embryo resumes growth. This is not only a biological marvel, it is a strategy. In unpredictable climates, flexibility is survival. And it poses a lesson for us. Adaptability is not just reacting to change, but anticipating it. Nations like kangaroos must sometimes hold their potential in reserve, waiting for the moment when conditions favor renewal. The ocean, too, holds examples of flexibility written into the body itself. Many reef fish, including the clownfish made famous by popular culture, can change sex. In a small group, the largest individual becomes female. If she dies, the dominant male undergoes a transformation, reshaping organs, shifting hormones, and taking her place as matriarch. Other species, like wrasses, reverse the process, with females becoming males when needed. The message is clear. In the economy of survival, identity is fluid. What seems fixed may change. In human terms, this adaptability mirrors political systems, economies, even cultures that reinvent themselves under pressure. Biology has been rewriting roles for millions of years. Above the oceans, far across continents, another invisible system guides life: Earth's magnetic field. Every year, migratory birds cross oceans, mountains, and deserts, returning with precision to nesting grounds. Scientists have discovered magnetite crystals in their bodies, natural compasses embedded in biology. Others may see magnetic fields as visual patterns in their eyes, using the invisible to navigate the world. This ability, called magnetoreception, is not just a curiosity. It shows that survival often depends on senses beyond human reach. For centuries, sailors relied on the stars. Birds rely on the planet itself. And as technology advances, humanity now launches satellites to mimic what birds have known for millennia: that navigation depends not on dominance, but on alignment with forces larger than ourselves. But Earth's story is not only told through migrations, it is also told through cycles that pulse across eons. The carbon cycle, the exchange of carbon between air, oceans, soil, plants, and animals, is Earth's breath. Every inhale, every exhale is a negotiation between life and atmosphere. Carbon locked in stone or oil, released in fire or industry, taken back by forests or seas. For millions of years, this cycle balanced itself, stabilizing climate and sustaining ecosystems. Today, however, this rhythm is broken. Human activity has tilted the balance, injecting vast amounts of carbon dioxide into the air. The result: rising temperatures, melting glaciers, shifting weather. In essence, humanity has disrupted Earth's breath. And just as oxygen once poisoned ancient microbes, carbon dioxide now threatens us. To understand the roots of this story, we must go back further still, to the very first builders of Earth's surface. Long before trees or animals, cyanobacteria constructed vast stromatolites in shallow seas, trapping sediments layer by layer. Some of these fossilized structures are over 3.5 billion years old, making them among the earliest evidence of life itself. By releasing oxygen, they reshaped the atmosphere, paving the way for complex organisms. Today, living stromatolites still grow in places like Shark Bay, Australia, monuments to the first architects of our world. But even in modern oceans, intelligence continues to surprise us. Dolphins, for example, appear to give each other names. Each develops a unique signature whistle, recognized by companions across vast distances. Play back a dolphin's own whistle, and it will respond as though called. In social groups that shift constantly, this ability to identify and remember individuals is not luxury but necessity. It reveals a society bound not just by instinct, but by memory and recognition, foundations of culture itself. And then there is the desert, vast and golden today, but carrying a memory few imagine. 6,000 to 8,000 years ago, the Sahara was green. Rivers flowed, lakes shimmered, elephants and giraffes roamed, and human communities left behind cave paintings of abundance. This transformation was driven not by human hands, but by shifts in Earth's orbit that altered rainfall. Eventually, the rains faded and the desert returned. The Sahara is more than sand. It is proof that landscapes change, that climates shift, that abundance can collapse into scarcity. For policymakers and nations, it is a warning. The green world of today may not be permanent. Stability is fragile, and survival belongs to those who remember the past written in stone and sand. From kangaroos pausing time to fish shifting roles, from birds reading Earth's invisible maps to bacteria laying the foundations of continents, from dolphins with names to deserts that change their identity, Part 5 reveals a hard truth. Life survives not by staying the same, but by reshaping itself when the world demands it. High in the skies, beyond the reach of land and ocean, birds demonstrate one of evolution's most astonishing feats: the ability to sleep while flying. Species like the frigate bird and alpine swift can remain airborne for days, even weeks. To survive, they rest with only half their brain at a time, a phenomenon known as unihemispheric slow wave sleep. One hemisphere of the brain sleeps, while the other remains alert, guiding the bird safely through the air. Their eyes even take turns staying open. This is not only survival, it is strategy. Imagine resting without ever stopping, navigating storms and vast seas while conserving energy. For human technology, the parallel is obvious. Engineers study these birds to design drones and aircraft that could remain in the air for months, perhaps years, powered by solar energy and capable of sleeping without landing. Once again, biology becomes blueprint. But the wonders of survival extend far beyond the sky. Deep in caves and forests, fireflies send silent messages of light. They do not glow at random. Each species has its own code, patterns of flashes that males and females exchange like signals in the dark. It is courtship, communication, and defense, all in one. Some fireflies use light to attract mates. Others use it to warn predators that they taste bitter. This living language of flashes is both poetry and protection. And yet, not all plant or animal communication is so gentle. In the forests of Africa and South America, monkeys have been observed practicing zoopharmacognosy, self-medication. Chimpanzees deliberately chew bitter plants when infected with parasites. Capuchins rub leaves onto their fur to repel insects. These behaviors are not accidental. They reveal a hidden pharmacy in nature, an ancient knowledge encoded in instinct and memory. For modern medicine, this is more than curiosity. Pharmaceutical companies now investigate these plants for new drugs. The rainforest, still disappearing acre by acre, may hold cures for diseases humanity has yet to confront. Step into the oceans and you discover another hidden partner of survival: algae. Invisible to the naked eye, these microscopic organisms drifting near the surface of the sea generate more than half of Earth's oxygen through photosynthesis. Every second breath you take is made possible by phytoplankton. They form the foundation of marine food chains, feeding krill, fish, whales, and indirectly, us. And yet, climate change and pollution are destabilizing their populations. In the Pacific, massive algal blooms suffocate ecosystems. In the Arctic, warming waters threaten their survival. If they falter, the world's oxygen balance shifts. In this way, the fate of global atmospheres rests on microscopic drifters. But intelligence does not belong only to microbes or apes. Crows, already known for tool use, display a gift even rarer: the ability to plan for the future. In experiments, they chose to forego immediate food if it meant receiving a greater reward later. They hid tools for use days ahead. They remembered human faces that had threatened them, holding grudges for years. These are not instincts alone. They are evidence of foresight. And foresight is the essence of strategy, whether in politics, war, or survival. Even snakes, long associated with stealth and danger, carry a hidden sense. Pit vipers, boas, and pythons can see heat through specialized pit organs on their faces. To them, the world is not only light and shadow, but a thermal map of living bodies. In total darkness, they can strike prey with accuracy guided by heat signatures. Military scientists once compared this to night vision. But evolution perfected it long before humanity strapped infrared goggles to helmets. And in the far north, the tundra teaches us another lesson: timing. For most of the year, Arctic landscapes lie frozen, barren, silent. But when summer arrives, the ground erupts into a riot of color. Flowers, mosses, and grasses bloom all at once, feeding pollinators and animals in a window as short as 8 weeks. This synchronized explosion is not luxury, it is necessity. Miss the moment and survival ends. For human societies facing climate collapse, the tundra offers a warning. Resilience may depend not only on strength, but on precision, on knowing exactly when to act. From birds that sleep while flying, to fireflies flashing codes. From monkeys practicing medicine, to algae generating oxygen. From crows storing memory, to snakes reading heat. From tundra blooms to human foresight, Part 6 reveals a single truth: survival is not random. It is communication, coordination, and timing. Life strategies echo across scales, from microbes in the ocean to nations on the brink, reminding us that the rules of survival are written not just in biology, but in wisdom. Deep in the tropical forests, a chilling drama unfolds, one that could be mistaken for science fiction. A parasitic fungus, Ophiocordyceps unilateralis, invades an ant's body and takes control of its brain. The infected ant, still alive, abandons its colony, climbs a stem, and locks its jaws into a leaf or branch. There, the fungus consumes it from within, eventually sprouting a stalk that erupts from the ant's head, scattering spores to infect others below. This is not imagination, it is biological reality, evolution weaponized into horror. Why does this matter? Because it proves that power in nature does not always come from size or speed. Control, the ability to manipulate behavior, can be the most devastating adaptation of all. Military strategists studying biological warfare have pointed to fungi and viruses as models of influence. The smallest organisms redirect the actions of the largest. In the seas, another bizarre form of survival emerges. The sea cucumber, a soft-bodied creature resting quietly on the ocean floor, can liquefy its body at will. By rearranging the proteins in its tissues, it shifts from firm to fluid, sliding into cracks or escaping predators. Then it re-solidifies in seconds. Some even expel their own internal organs as decoys, organs they later regenerate. For scientists studying material science and robotics, the sea cucumber is a living prototype of shape-shifting technology. Farther south, beneath Antarctic ice, swims the ice fish, a ghost-like creature with blood almost transparent. Unlike most vertebrates, it has no red blood cells, no hemoglobin. Instead, oxygen dissolves directly into its plasma. Its survival depends on antifreeze proteins that stop its blood from freezing solid. In temperatures that would kill nearly any other species, the ice fish drifts silently, a reminder that life engineers solutions even in the harshest environments. On land, insects show a different kind of genius. Termites, often dismissed as pests, are in fact architects of extraordinary precision. Their mounds, some rising over 9 meters tall, contain millions of individuals and feature a natural ventilation system. By arranging tunnels and chambers, termites regulate temperature and airflow, creating stable climates inside even when the outside world swings from scorching heat to cold nights. Architects and engineers study these mounds to design energy-efficient buildings. Here, evolution achieved sustainable design long before humans spoke of green architecture. Not all adaptations are elegant, some are shocking. In the deserts of North America, horned lizards possess a defense mechanism so extreme it seems unreal. They squirt blood from their eyes. By building pressure in the vessels around their eyes, they rupture them intentionally, spraying a stream that startles predators and tastes foul to canines. To the lizard, survival is worth the cost of a little blood. And if we journey backward in time to the origins of life itself, we find the first spark not in sunlight but in darkness. At the bottom of ancient oceans, hydrothermal vents spewed mineral-rich water into freezing seas. Around these vents, life began, not fueled by photosynthesis but by chemosynthesis, microbes harnessing chemical reactions to survive without sunlight. These were Earth's first ecosystems, and they may hold clues to life elsewhere. On moons like Europa or Enceladus, with hidden oceans beneath ice, similar vents could be cradles for alien life. NASA's missions today are, in a sense, echoes of those first microbial experiments billions of years ago. Even creatures as simple as starfish remind us of resilience. Lose an arm and they regrow it. In some cases, a severed arm with part of the central disc can regenerate into an entirely new starfish. Without a brain, with only a nerve ring, they patiently rewrite their bodies. Medical researchers study them for insights into human regeneration, wound healing, and perhaps one day organ replacement. But perhaps the strangest creature of all is the platypus, a mammal that lays eggs, produces milk without nipples, and hunts underwater with electroreception. Males carry venomous spurs on their hind legs. Its body seems like a collage of contradictions: duck's bill, beaver's tail, otter's feet. And yet it thrives. For millions of years, this evolutionary puzzle has endured, reminding us that survival is not about fitting categories, it is about breaking them. From zombie fungi to liquefying sea cucumbers, from transparent ice fish to termite architects, from blood-squirting lizards to the first microbes of the deep, from regenerating starfish to paradoxical platypuses, Part 7 drives home one lesson. Life is not bound by rules, it rewrites them. Again and again, survival is a script that refuses to stay the same. In the blazing deserts of Africa, where survival seems impossible, the Namib desert beetle has mastered the art of harvesting water from thin air. Each morning, as fog drifts inland from the Atlantic, the beetle climbs the sand dunes and tilts its body toward the wind. Tiny bumps on its shell collect droplets of moisture, which slide down into its mouth. In one of the driest places on Earth, this insect drinks from clouds. Engineers now mimic this design in fog nets and water harvesting materials, offering hope to drought-stricken regions worldwide. Nature's engineering extends to the Arctic as well. The Arctic fox, blanketed in fur that shifts from white in winter to brown in summer, is a master of camouflage and efficiency. Its paws are insulated, its metabolism adjusts to scarcity, and it survives temperatures that would kill unprotected humans within hours. In a world of climate extremes, its body is both armor and adaptation. Military research units once studied this fox for clothing design, while climate scientists track its declining populations as a warning signal of warming ecosystems. Further south, in the rainforests of Borneo, another genius of survival thrives, the flying snake. With no wings, no feathers, it launches itself from treetops, flattening its body into a ribbon and gliding gracefully across distances of up to 100 meters. Scientists studying its aerodynamics discovered that its undulating motion actually stabilizes its glide. The lesson: flight is not reserved for birds or bats. Innovation in nature often comes from bending or breaking expectations. Yet perhaps the most extraordinary navigators are not snakes or foxes, but insects no larger than a fingernail. Monarch butterflies, fragile and paper-thin, migrate thousands of kilometers across North America to wintering grounds in Mexico. Each generation lives only a few weeks, but the migration continues, guided by an inherited map written into their genes. When they arrive, millions blanket the forests, transforming branches into living mosaics of orange and black. How such delicate wings carry memory across generations remains one of biology's greatest mysteries. In the oceans, another architect of survival drifts with tentacles like silk, the Portuguese man-o-war. It appears to be a single jellyfish, but in truth it is a colony, multiple organisms fused into one. Each part specializes. One floats, another stings, another digests, another reproduces. Together, they function as a single being. This model of distributed survival is now studied in robotics and computing. Imagine machines that, like the man-o-war, are not one but many, linked yet independent, each part carrying a unique role. And survival can also mean waiting. The bristlecone pine, rooted in the high mountains of California and Nevada, is among the oldest living organisms on Earth. Some individuals are nearly 5,000 years old, older than the pyramids of Egypt, older than written history itself. Through ice ages, droughts, and storms, they endured. Their secret? Slow growth, dense wood, and the patience to outlast civilizations. When empires fall and borders shift, these trees remain, whispering across millennia. But not all endurance is silent. The African cicadas, synchronized by heat and season, erupt in deafening choruses that can exceed 100 decibels, louder than a rock concert. For weeks, forests vibrate with their cries, overwhelming predators through sheer abundance. It is survival by numbers. So many emerge at once that predators cannot possibly consume them all. Economists call this the principle of flooding the market. In nature, it is strategy. Overwhelm the enemy not with force, but with excess. Even among mammals, survival strategies astonish. The sloth, slow and seemingly defenseless, has turned lethargy into a shield. By moving so slowly, it avoids detection by predators. Algae grow on its fur, camouflaging it among leaves. Its entire existence is built on energy conservation. While predators sprint and struggle, the sloth survives by embracing stillness. In a world obsessed with speed, it is proof that sometimes the best survival strategy is patience. From beetles that drink fog to foxes that wear the seasons, from snakes that glide to butterflies that inherit maps, from colonial jellyfish to ancient pines, from deafening cicadas to invisible sloths, Part 8 reminds us, survival is not one strategy, but many. Some endure by speed, others by silence, some by cooperation, others by camouflage. Together, they weave the endless story of life's ingenuity. High above the Andes, the Andean condor rides invisible rivers of air. With wings stretching over 3 meters, it soars for hours without a single wing beat, conserving energy through mastery of thermals. Biologists have tracked individuals traveling over 160 kilometers in a day, flapping only once or twice. In an age of fuel shortages and climate crisis, this bird embodies efficiency, survival through elegance, not brute force. Efficiency also defines the desert locust, but in a darker way. Alone, these insects are harmless. But when conditions trigger swarming, they undergo a radical transformation. Their bodies change color, their behavior shifts, and millions unite into a plague capable of stripping landscapes bare. A single swarm can contain billions of locusts, consuming as much food as an entire nation in a single day. For millennia, they have caused famine, migration, and even political collapse. Survival here is collective, but for humanity, it is catastrophe. In the oceans, the mimic octopus proves that intelligence can hide in disguise. It can impersonate more than a dozen creatures, flattening its arms to resemble a flounder, raising striped limbs to mimic a venomous lionfish, or burrowing with only two arms exposed like a sea snake. This is more than camouflage, it is theater. It chooses the performance most likely to deceive its predator. Survival becomes not just biology, but strategy, the art of illusion. And then there is the pistol shrimp, small but armed with a weapon that bends physics itself. By snapping its claws shut at lightning speed, it creates a bubble that collapses with a shock wave reaching 200 decibels, louder than a gunshot. For a fraction of a second, the collapsing bubble generates temperatures hotter than the surface of the sun, stunning or killing prey instantly. In laboratories, researchers study this shrimp not for weaponry, but for insights into plasma physics and energy release. Once again, nature shows us power in unexpected forms. Far beneath the ocean floor, other creatures survive without sunlight, without oxygen, even without what we would call time. Halocephalobobus mephisto, a tiny worm, was discovered living 1.3 kilometers underground, in water trapped for thousands of years. Surviving at extreme pressures and heat, it feeds on bacteria in complete isolation. Its existence proves that life does not need oceans or skies, only the right chemistry. For astrobiologists, this is revolutionary. If worms thrive in the Earth's crust, why not on Mars or beneath the ice of Europa? Back on the surface, life shows its brilliance in color. The peacock mantis shrimp, with eyes more advanced than any camera, can see ultraviolet, polarized light, and up to 16 different color receptors, compared to just 3 in humans. With a strike faster than a bullet, its claws shatter shells and even aquarium glass. Engineers now study its visual system for breakthroughs in satellite imaging and cancer detection, while its strike mechanics inspire stronger materials for armor and robotics. In this tiny creature, art and weaponry fuse into one. And yet, not all survival strategies are violent. The honeybee builds its world on cooperation. Within a hive, each bee works with precision, foraging, nursing, defending, or tending the queen. Through dances, they communicate exact directions to flowers kilometers away. A single colony may contain tens of thousands, functioning as one body, one mind. But the honeybee also carries a warning. Across the globe, colonies collapse due to pesticides, habitat loss, and disease. If they fall, agriculture suffers, and with it, human survival. In the darkness of caves, the Mexican blind cavefish survives without eyes. Over generations, its vision vanished, but its other senses sharpened. It detects vibrations, pressure, and chemical changes in the water, navigating flawlessly in total blackness. Its brain rewired itself, proving that when one path closes, evolution opens another. For humanity facing technological or environmental collapse, the message is stark. Survival is not about preserving what was, but about building what comes next. From condors that master the wind to locusts that overwhelm the land, From octopuses that perform illusions to shrimp that weaponize bubbles. From worms deep underground to mantis shrimp with alien eyes. From bees of cooperation to fish of darkness. Part 9 reveals the truth. Survival is theater, strategy, and reinvention. Life does not just endure, it innovates in ways that challenge the limits of imagination. High in the Himalayas, where oxygen thins and temperatures plummet, the bar-headed goose performs one of the greatest migrations on Earth. It flies over Mount Everest, reaching altitudes above 9,000 meters, higher than any other bird. To survive, its blood binds oxygen with extraordinary efficiency, and its lungs extract what little air remains in the sky. Climbers in the same region collapse from altitude sickness, but these geese cross effortlessly. Survival here is not conquest, but physiology refined over millennia. On the African plains, another strategy emerges: brute endurance. The spotted hyena, often maligned as scavenger, is in fact one of the most successful hunters of the savanna. Its jaws crush bone, its clans coordinate hunts lasting hours, and its social structure rivals that of primates. Females dominate, guiding clans with complex communication. Survival is not only physical strength, it is hierarchy, cooperation, and strategy encoded into behavior. In the waters off Greenland swims the Greenland shark, a creature that redefines the concept of time. Radiocarbon dating of eye proteins revealed individuals at least 400 years old, making them the longest-lived vertebrates known. Some were alive when Shakespeare wrote his plays. Their secret lies in slow metabolism, cold waters, and patient rhythms. For humans obsessed with speed and progress, the Greenland shark is a reminder: longevity often belongs to those who move slowly. But survival is not always quiet. The leafcutter ants of South America carve entire civilizations underground. They cut leaves not to eat directly, but to farm. Deep in their colonies, they cultivate fungus as food, tending gardens with precision, even producing antibiotics to control mold. This is agriculture, not human invention, but nature's, tens of millions of years earlier. And as human societies struggle with food security, these ants offer a blueprint for collective farming and resilience. The skies, too, reveal secrets of endurance. The common swift can remain in flight for nearly a year without landing, eating, drinking, and even mating in the air. Its wings lock for efficiency, its metabolism adjusts, and its survival strategy is pure motion. In contrast to the sloth's patience, the swift endures by never stopping. Both extremes teach the same truth: survival has no single formula. And deep in the human story lies a parallel. Ancient Homo sapiens, our own ancestors, faced droughts, ice ages, and predators far stronger than themselves. Yet they endured not by strength, but by cooperation, memory, and imagination. They painted stories on cave walls, shared knowledge across generations, and built networks of survival that allowed fragile bodies to thrive in hostile worlds. In this sense, the survival strategies of jellyfish, trees, ants, and birds are not just curiosities, they are mirrors. They show us that life endures through diversity of tactics, patience and speed, silence and sound, solitude and cooperation. And they force us to ask, as humanity faces climate collapse, pandemics, and instability, which strategies will we choose? Will we be sloths, conserving energy, swifts always in motion, ants united in labor, or sharks enduring through patience? From geese that fly above Everest to sharks older than nations, from hyenas with hierarchies to ants that farm, from swifts in endless flight to humans who turn stories into tools, Part 10 reveals the final truth. Survival is not guaranteed. It is earned through innovation, connection, and the relentless imagination of life itself. In the volcanic landscapes of Iceland, streams of boiling water cut across frozen ground. Here, tiny microorganisms known as extremophiles thrive where life should not exist. They endure acid pools, radiation, pressures that would crush submarines, and temperatures hotter than boiling point. Some even survive doses of radiation 1,000 times greater than what would kill a human. For biologists, they are living time machines, offering clues to how life began on Earth and how it might survive elsewhere in the solar system. Extremophiles also carry a hidden geopolitical weight. Their enzymes are now used in biotechnology, from DNA sequencing to industrial chemistry. What was once a curiosity is now billion-dollar innovation. Survival at the edge of possibility has become fuel for the modern economy. But survival is not always about strength. Sometimes it is about deception. The orchid mantis, a predator of the tropics, disguises itself as a delicate flower. Butterflies and bees approach seeking nectar, only to be ambushed. Its elegance is camouflage, its beauty a trap. For predators and prey alike, perception is the battlefield. And in human terms, this is a reminder. Narratives, illusions, and appearances often determine survival as much as force. On the African plains, another master of perception thrives, the giraffe. At first glance, its towering neck seems a bizarre accident of evolution. But closer study reveals a strategic advantage. With its height, the giraffe sees danger long before others. Its heart, the size of a basketball, pumps blood under immense pressure to its brain. Every breath, every step is a balancing act between physics and biology. Yet the giraffe's survival also shapes entire ecosystems. By feeding on tall acacia trees, it prunes growth, allowing sunlight to reach smaller plants below. It is not just survivor, but architect of landscapes. In the oceans, light itself becomes a weapon. The hatchetfish, with silvered sides and downward-facing eyes, avoids detection in the twilight zone of the sea. It produces counter-illumination, glowing from its belly to match the faint light filtering from above. To predators looking up, it vanishes. Military designers once studied this natural stealth to develop better camouflage for submarines. Evolution, once again, anticipated strategy by millions of years. Yet survival can also come from partnerships. The clownfish, protected within the stinging tentacles of sea anemones, offers food scraps in return for shelter. Each depends on the other, and without the partnership, both struggle. In the language of geopolitics, this is alliance. Just as no nation stands alone in crisis, no clownfish survives without its host. And sometimes survival means bending the rules of reproduction itself. The axolotl, a salamander native to Mexico, never undergoes full metamorphosis. Unlike other amphibians, it retains its juvenile features, gills, aquatic body, yet reaches sexual maturity and reproduces. It is evolution's refusal to grow up, a creature forever young. More importantly, it carries the ability to regenerate entire limbs, spinal cords, even parts of its brain. Scientists worldwide study it for potential breakthroughs in human medicine. Above ground, in the deserts of North America, the saguaro cactus stands as fortress of water. Towering over 12 meters tall, it stores thousands of liters inside its tissues, guarded by spines. Birds carve nests into its flesh, small animals find shade at its base, and in times of drought, it remains a reservoir for life. Its very existence proves that survival in scarcity is not just endurance, but generosity, a single cactus sustaining entire communities. And in the frozen tundra, the muskox shows survival through solidarity. When threatened by wolves, they do not scatter. Instead, they form a circle, horns outward, calves in the center. Their power lies not in speed, but in unity. For humans facing global crises, the muskox delivers a lesson older than civilization. Survival is a collective act. From extremophiles in boiling pools to mantises of deception, from giraffes reshaping forests to fish that glow in camouflage,
From clownfish alliances to axolotls of regeneration, from cacti storing water to muskoxen defending as one, Part 11 reminds us survival is not one story, but many. And the strategies of life are as diverse as the challenges it faces. In the dense jungles of Southeast Asia, the flying frog takes a leap of faith. With webbed feet stretched wide, it glides from branch to branch, escaping predators and conserving energy. This amphibian, neither bird nor bat, has found a third way to move through the world. Its strategy is not power, but possibility, using what it has to create what it needs. For innovators and engineers, the flying frog embodies a lesson. Survival often means reimagining what seems impossible. From the canopy to the earth below, another quiet strategist thrives. The armadillo, with armor of bony plates, rolls into a near impenetrable ball when threatened. Its defense is not attack, but withdrawal. In warfare and politics alike, defense can be as decisive as offense. For the armadillo, safety lies in knowing when to resist and when to retreat. In the frozen north, survival takes another shape. The polar bear, apex predator of the Arctic, depends not only on strength but on timing. It hunts seals by waiting at breathing holes, patient and silent for hours. Its thick fur and fat insulate against temperatures that would kill unprotected humans in minutes. Yet this master of ice now faces a new challenge: climate change. As sea ice melts, the bear's hunting grounds vanish. Its survival story is no longer just evolution, but entangled with human industry and global policy. Meanwhile, in the forests of Madagascar, the aye-aye, a strange nocturnal lemur, taps on trees with an elongated finger, listening for hollow sounds. When it finds a cavity, it gnaws through bark and extracts grubs. Its eerie appearance once inspired fear and legend, but in reality, it is a specialist of precision. Where others see only wood, the aye-aye hears opportunity. Its survival rests on tools, just as ours once did. And sometimes survival comes from invisibility. The glass frog, perched on leaves in Central and South America, has translucent skin. Its bones, heart, and organs are visible through its body. By blending into the foliage, it avoids predators not with strength or speed, but with near transparency. In human terms, this is stealth. Survival not by confrontation, but by erasure from the battlefield.
In the oceans, the parrotfish performs another extraordinary act. By grinding coral with beak-like teeth, it produces sand, tons of it every year. The white beaches of the Maldives and the Caribbean exist in large part thanks to this fish. Survival here is not solitary. It shapes ecosystems, creating habitats that benefit countless species, including humans. In a very real sense, the parrotfish builds worlds. On land, endurance can also mean stillness. The camel, often called the ship of the desert, survives weeks without water. Its humps store fat, not water, but this fat is metabolized into both energy and hydration. Its blood cells are oval, allowing them to flow even during dehydration. Its nostrils trap moisture, recycling each breath. For traders, armies, and empires, the camel was not just transport but survival itself, carrying civilizations across deserts. Even the smallest creatures redefine possibility. The bombardier beetle defends itself with chemistry. When threatened, it mixes two chemicals inside its abdomen, triggering an explosive reaction that sprays boiling, noxious liquid at attackers. The precision of this reaction, controlled by tiny valves, has inspired research into controlled combustion engines and military deterrence. Survival in this case is chemistry as weapon. But the most profound survival story may be invisible. Every human heartbeat, every breath, is tied to mitochondria, tiny organelles inside our cells, descended from ancient bacteria that entered into partnership with early eukaryotes more than 1 billion years ago. Instead of being digested, they formed an alliance, powering the host with energy in exchange for protection.
That ancient pact still sustains us today. Without mitochondria, no animal, no plant, no human could live. The greatest survival strategy of all was not domination, but cooperation.
From frogs that fly to armadillos of armor, from polar bears losing ice to eyes tapping for life, from frogs of glass to fish that build beaches, from camels crossing deserts to beetles armed with fire, and finally to the mitochondria inside our own cells. Part 12 reveals the ultimate truth. Survival is not only about the external world. It is written deep within us, in alliances older than memory. On the African savanna, the meerkat stands as a symbol of vigilance. While the group forages, one individual climbs to a high perch, scanning for eagles or jackals. At the faintest threat, it sounds an alarm, and the colony dives for cover. The sentinel often risks its life for the safety of others. This is survival through sacrifice and trust. For human societies, the message is clear. No system endures without guardians, without those who watch while others act. In the oceans, a very different strategy emerges. The blue whale, largest creature ever to live, survives not with fangs or claws, but with abundance. It filters tiny krill by the ton, turning the smallest prey into the fuel for a giant. Each heartbeat reverberates like a drum through the water. And yet, despite its size, the whale remains vulnerable to ships, to climate change, to the noise that drowns its songs. Its survival is not guaranteed by magnitude alone. Even the largest depend on balance. On land, the African wild dog reveals another extraordinary pattern: cooperation at a scale rarely seen among predators. Hunts are coordinated with precision, packs share food equitably, and the sick or injured are fed until they recover. Their survival depends not on hierarchy alone, but on solidarity.
For nations fractured by division, the wild dog offers a model. Strength lies in unity, not in the abandonment of the weak. Yet survival can also mean transformation across time. The coelacanth, a fish thought extinct for 65 million years, reappeared alive off the coast of South Africa in 1938. Its body design stretches back 400 million years, a living fossil swimming in modern seas. Its survival reminds us that extinction is not always final, that some lineages endure beyond imagination. For paleontologists, it is a living portal into prehistory. Closer to the ground, the pangolin, covered in scales of keratin, curls into an armored ball when threatened. It has survived for millions of years with this strategy, but today it faces a new predator: humanity. Hunted for meat and traditional medicine, pangolins are among the most trafficked mammals on Earth. Their survival story now depends not on evolution, but on human choices. A reminder that we too have become a force of life or death for countless species. From ancient lineages to modern adaptations, the story of survival also runs through the soil. The earthworm, humble and nearly invisible, transforms entire landscapes. By tunneling, it aerates soil, cycles nutrients, and sustains agriculture. Without worms, ecosystems collapse. Darwin once wrote that no other creature has played such an important role in the history of the world. Survival is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is quiet work beneath our feet. And even among plants, strategy reigns supreme. The bamboo, fragile in appearance, is in fact one of Earth's fastest-growing organisms. Some species can rise nearly a meter in a single day. It bends in storms rather than breaking, and in doing so, it survives where rigid giants fall. Its strength lies not in resistance, but in flexibility, a lesson every society in turmoil must remember. But perhaps the most humbling survival story is our own. Humans have always borrowed from nature. Flight from birds, sonar from bats, architecture from termites, medicines from plants. Our survival has never been solitary. It has always been a dialogue with the living world. And as crises mount, from climate to conflict, our ability to listen, to learn from beetles, whales, ants, and trees may determine our future.
From meerkats on guard to whales of giants, from wild dogs of solidarity to fish resurrected from extinction, from pangolins armored yet endangered to worms building the soil, from bamboo rising fast to humans learning at last. Part 13 reveals that survival is not a single path. It is vigilance, cooperation, resilience, and humility woven together. On the African savanna, the moorcat stands as a symbol of vigilance. While the group forages, one individual climbs to a high perch, scanning for eagles or jackals. At the faintest threat, it sounds an alarm and the colony dives for cover. The sentinel often risks its life for the safety of others. This is survival through sacrifice and trust. For human societies, the message is clear. No system endures without guardians, without those who watch while others act. In the oceans, a very different strategy emerges. The blue whale, largest creature ever to live, survives not with fangs or claws, but with abundance. It filters tiny krill by the ton, turning the smallest prey into the fuel for a giant. Each heartbeat reverberates like a drum through the water. And yet, despite its size, the whale remains vulnerable to ships, to climate change, to the noise that drowns its songs. Its survival is not guaranteed by magnitude alone. Even the largest depend on balance. On land, the African wild dog reveals another extraordinary pattern: cooperation at a scale rarely seen among predators. Hunts are coordinated with precision, packs share food equitably, and the sick or injured are fed until they recover. Their survival depends not on hierarchy alone, but on solidarity. For nations fractured by division, the wild dog offers a model. Strength lies in unity, not in the abandonment of the weak. Yet survival can also mean transformation across time. The coelacanth, a fish thought extinct for 65 million years, reappeared alive off the coast of South Africa in 1938. Its body design stretches back 400 million years, a living fossil swimming in modern seas. Its survival reminds us that extinction is not always final, that some lineages endure beyond imagination. For paleontologists, it is a living portal into prehistory. Closer to the ground, the pangolin, covered in scales of keratin, curls into an armored ball when threatened. It has survived for millions of years with this strategy, but today it faces a new predator: humanity. Hunted for meat and traditional medicine, pangolins are among the most trafficked mammals on Earth. Their survival story now depends not on evolution, but on human choices. A reminder that we too have become a force of life or death for countless species. From ancient lineages to modern adaptations, the story of survival also runs through the soil. The earthworm, humble and nearly invisible, transforms entire landscapes. By tunneling, it aerates soil, cycles nutrients, and sustains agriculture. Without worms, ecosystems collapse. Darwin once wrote that no other creature has played such an important role in the history of the world. Survival is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is quiet work beneath our feet. And even among plants, strategy reigns supreme. The bamboo, fragile in appearance, is in fact one of Earth's fastest-growing organisms. Some species can rise nearly a meter in a single day. It bends in storms rather than breaking, and in doing so, it survives where rigid giants fall. Its strength lies not in resistance, but in flexibility, a lesson every society in turmoil must remember. But perhaps the most humbling survival story is our own. Humans have always borrowed from nature: flight from birds, sonar from bats, architecture from termites, medicines from plants. Our survival has never been solitary. It has always been a dialogue with the living world. And as crises mount, from climate to conflict, our ability to listen, to learn from beetles, whales, ants, and trees may determine our future.
From meerkats on guard to whales of giants, from wild dogs of solidarity to fish resurrected from extinction, from pangolins armored yet endangered to worms building the soil, from bamboo rising fast to humans learning at last. Part 13 reveals that survival is not a single path. It is vigilance, cooperation, resilience, and humility woven together. From the frozen poles to the burning deserts, from the deepest trenches to the highest skies, one truth emerges: life is relentless. It adapts, it transforms, it endures. Every creature, every tree, every microscopic cell carries within it a survival strategy written by billions of years of trial and error. But now, for the first time in history, one species, us, holds in its hands the fate of countless others. Humanity has become a planetary force. We alter the climate, redraw rivers, erase forests, acidify oceans. Our actions rival volcanoes and asteroids.
And yet, unlike those ancient catastrophes, we are not blind forces of nature. We are conscious. We choose. The lessons of survival we have seen are not distant curiosities. They are warnings, blueprints, and mirrors. The immortal jellyfish reminds us that time can be rewritten but never defeated. The forest networks show that interconnection is strength, not weakness. The tardigrade proves that resilience lies in patience. The oxygen revolution warns that the invisible can decide the fate of worlds. The ants, whales, fungi, and seeds teach that survival belongs not to the strongest, but to the most adaptable, the most cooperative, the most imaginative. In boardrooms, laboratories, and parliaments, the same laws apply. Flexibility, unity, foresight. These are not just evolutionary traits, they are political necessities. Nations that fail to adapt collapse, just as species do. Societies that refuse cooperation weaken, just as isolated trees wither without their networks. And civilizations that ignore the invisible forces shaping their world, carbon dioxide, viruses, data, are no different from ancient microbes overwhelmed by oxygen. Yet hope remains. If survival has one constant, it is innovation. Life does not stop, it invents. It glows in the dark, flies without wings, breathes beneath ice, waits centuries as a seed, or explodes into song across oceans. And so can we. We are not apart from this story. We are its latest chapter. The question is no longer whether Earth will endure. It will. The question is whether we will endure with it or vanish like so many before us. To survive, we must remember what nature has been telling us for billions of years, that survival is not conquest, but cooperation, not permanence, but change, not silence, but song. Look around you at the trees, the skies, the animals, the people.
Adapt, connect, endure. This is the anthem of life, from the smallest microbe to the largest whale, from the ancient stromatolite to the human child born today. And as the cameras fade, the truth remains. We are not the masters of this planet. We are its students. And the exam is already underway. Thank you for watching Cosmic Lullaby Channel. Until we meet again beneath the stars.